mean, my wife was with me, she's Dutch, and she was a nurse, and she went up and talked her down. And I've learned years later that this young lady did actually end up getting married and living a very happy and fulfilled life. So I'm happy that she didn't jump. It was a good job she didn't listen to what I said. And the other time was I was actually at a convention in Minneapolis, St. Paul, and a guy got up and said, "Hey, excuse me, doctor, when you are in your third persona, what were you thinking when you opened the TARDIS door onto the planet Thor?" And I thought, what? Who's my third persona? It was John Pertwee. So I went, when I opened the door onto the, I put on my thinking hat and I just blabbered on, and he said, "Oh, thank you, doctor, thank you," and sat down. He actually believed that I was the doctor, we were all the doctor. And then the next guy got up and said, "Hello," he said, "now that you've become so universally famous, are you worried about being shot?" Yeah, so I thought, wow, this is a great job I've got here. Yes. I mean, I heard her dying on stage, but that was taking it too far.
Is there anyone who wants to ask a question? Yeah, lots of hands. So we'll have, yes, Amy Pond, and then...
Oh, right.
Amy Pond.
Hi. Hello. I'm a really big fan of Doctor Who, as you can tell. It's a bit iffy sometimes. I really like the 7th Doctor, and I also really like Radagast in obviously Hobbit. Which did you prefer to play and why?
Well, people keep asking me that, and it seems to me, as an actor, a strange question. I love playing both of them, and I did the first one 27 years ago. And although I'm still doing Doctor Who in Big Finish, I'm still playing him. I still enjoy playing him. But, also playing Radagast the Brown, I really like. And I'm glad that he was given the name Radagast so that I could roll my R's. I'm not sure whether I was cast in the role particularly because of that. I might have been, you never know. I love doing both. But I like acting. Someone today asked me a question earlier. What's in all your career, what's your favourite role you ever played? And I said, all of it. What I love doing is acting, and it's all acting. And the greater variety of things that you do, well, the more fun it is as an actor. I don't think I could be Ken Barlow. I wouldn't have said that yet until after the trial. But anyway, I don't think I could be Ken Barlow doing the same role for 155 years. It's just not my scene, really. I like to change.
Thank you.
Chapter.
Hi. Obviously, you were the last Doctor to do in Classic Who to do a TV series, and then we had Paul doing the movie. I can imagine that being quite good. But do you keep up with the new series of Doctor Who? And do you have a favourite out of Chris, Matt, and David?
Well, I don't actually keep up with it. Not because I don't want to. It's just my life. I'm so busy working, and for the last 3 years I've been on the other side of the world. And when I was on the other side of the world, not only was it winter and it was summer here, but when Doctor Who was on here, it wasn't on there. And then when I came back from there, Doctor Who was on there, and it wasn't on here. And it was winter here. And so, in fact, I spent 3 years in the complete winter. So much so that medically I had a blood test, and they said I was lacking in vitamin D. Because I didn't have any sunshine. Making The Hobbit, there's dedication for you. I thought the very first Christopher Eccleston one was great, and the arrival of Rose, his companion. Together they were wonderful. And then I watched David's one, Summer Phase, and I liked it very much. But then when they said, because I always believed that the Doctor should have been, should stay an older person. For me, I thought it was quite important in a societal sense that we have superheroes, young men who wear their underpants on the outside of their trousers, and that's good. If that's what they want to do and save the universe, that's fine. But it's really good to have an older person who uses his brain to save the world, the universe. And so when they decided they're going to cast a 12-year-old, I thought, no, you can't do that. turns out this 12-year-old was absolutely brilliant and stunning and amazing. I mean, I'm so fond of Matt Smith. I loved him on the screen, but I met him just last year, November. We were making Five-ish Doctors reboot, and we were down in Cardiff, and I met him there. And he's like an Afghan hound. He comes bounding up to you, he wags his tail, he licks your face. He's incredibly friendly and just a really adorable young man. And I thought he made a great Doctor as well. But the new one coming, we're back to real hard. It's interesting there's so many Scots who have played Doctor Who. My theory is that I don't know if you've been to Glasgow, but in Sucky Hall Street there is a permanent TARDIS. And on a Friday night, when they pour out the pubs, they're up against that TARDIS, peeing on it and knocking on the door saying, "Oi, come on, let me in, I'm the next fucking Doctor." I didn't say that. It was them. Carried away. Like this, I should be carried away. Anyway, so that's why I think there's quite a lot of... You might be next. Ask the question.
I'm lost after that. The casting.
Out there, maybe.
Yeah, the casting of Peter. They've now went for the opposite end now. Where they
Because Peter, in fact, technically, is the oldest actor to start off being the Doctor. Yeah, so that's quite interesting. So he won't be wearing his underpants on the outside of his trousers. At least I hope not.
What do you think of that casting?
I think it's great. I really like. I mean, he's a brilliant actor, and I think he'll be a real boon and strength and depth to the Doctor. It just carries on with the excitement.
Now, you mentioned the Five-ish Doctors earlier. Can you tell us how that came about?
Well, yes, it was. Peter and Colin and I, meet various times all over the world, at different conventions, and Paul as well, and we realised all the fans all around the world wanted us to be in the 50th anniversary of Doctor Who. Exactly, and we knew this, and we kept saying, "Well, write in." But gradually it dawned on us that we weren't going to be in it because we hadn't heard anything, so obviously we weren't going to be in it. And then Peter, who had made a couple of short films for fans before and showed them to me, and they were so funny and witty and kind of clever, he said, "I think I should make a story about us trying to break in to the Doctor Who, 50th anniversary." And we all signed up and said, "Yeah, let's do it." So we started off making it as a home movie, really, with Peter's equipment. We did it at Australia at a convention, and we were going to build it up slowly, but then the BBC got wind of it, and they got involved in it, and then they didn't give us any money. We didn't get any money for it, but they gave technical and cameras and better equipment. So we were able to make a better film, a more technically proficient film, and that was great. But we did it. I mean, we actually did it because we knew the fans wanted it, and we wanted to give the fans what they wanted. Unlike the BBC, they weren't interested. So we got into it in the end.
Did you have any input in the writing of it? Did you suggest what you would do? Or did
obviously it was all Peter Davidson's brilliance. I mean, I'm so full of admiration for him. He wrote it, and he conceived it, and wrote it, and directed it, and edited it, the whole kit and caboodle he did, and he did a wonderful job. The always thing there were bits that when we were doing it, we'd improvise and make up. I mean, when I was covered in the cloth, it was my idea to put my hat on my head, and Colin went, "Oh my God," and then that's all I can remember, because we did it all over last year. Last year was mad, because you might not know this, but it was the 50th anniversary of Doctor Who, and it was also the Hobbit was coming out, and I was filming in New Zealand, and I was doing stuff for the 50th anniversary, and trying to meet Peter, and trying to get Paul and Peter and Colin and myself, and a guy called Tom Baker, you might have heard of him, involved, and it was very difficult, but we managed to something out of the bag, I think. Yeah, I'm glad you liked it, because we loved it.
Were you happy with the end result?
Yeah, it was great. It was just, it was Peter's stuff. so witty.
Now, have you seen the official 50th anniversary episode yet?
Yeah.
You have. What did you think?
I loved it. I saw it in the cinema in 3D, in the BFI, and it was great. I mean, it was really good, I thought. I loved the scenes with Rose and what? John Hurt and what's her name? I've forgotten her name. Billy. Sorry. Anyway, Billy and Tim. Yeah, I like those scenes very much. I thought they were very kind of Beckettian, weird. I quite like that.
Another question. Oh, from Sylvester, your doppelganger.
Hello.
And hang on a second, we've got one here first, and then we'll go to...
Obviously, you were on Doctor Who for a long time, so have you got like a memory from the set of that, or filming that, or did we extra from that time, the slips in the imagination, three times, which more than
Memories, yeah. Lots of memories, really. One of my favourite memories was doing Survival, and we were filming in Dorset in a big sandpit, miles by miles sandpit. I called it the deserts of Dorset. We filmed there twice. We did the greatest show in the galaxy there, and we did Survival, and both times we had heat waves, and it was like over 100 degrees Fahrenheit. It was so hot, and these poor cat people were covered in fur. You know, they had all this fur on and makeup, and there was no shade for them, there was no air conditioning, there was nothing. BBC. I was lucky I had an umbrella, I could put it up and shade myself. But one of the girls who was dressed up, she just freaked out. She couldn't bear it anymore. So she ripped off her costume and was last seen running over a sand dune. The only thing was she forgot she was only wearing a thong. That was one of my favourite moments.
Oh, another... Oh my God, we'll get to you, don't worry.
Speak! Where are you? Hello!
Now, I think a lot of people would agree with me that the Five-ish Doctor's view was just amazing, absolutely brilliant. And to be honest, I think it was a little bit better than the actual 50th anniversary episode.
I know. And we had a better cast list.
And I was just wondering, why were the classic Doctors not included in the 50th anniversary? Because one of my favourite parts of Classic Who is when all of the Doctors, when they had the special episodes and they all tried to out-sass each other, and that was just my favourite part of it. And I was just wondering why that didn't happen in the 50th anniversary.
Well, you'd have to ask the producer that, really, because he knew from everyone in the world that they wanted all of us in it, as many of us as they could get. And well, maybe, I don't know, would have been. I don't know. I don't know why. No one's explained that to me, and that's why we went and made the Five-ish Doctors reboot, because we knew we weren't going to be in it, but we were going to make sure we were in it. And I'm delighted to say that in many ways we upstaged it. Much, which is, again, that's Peter Davidson's brilliance in that, really. So yeah, it's a shame we weren't in the film. Because I am like you, I loved in the old days watching, the Five Doctors and all that stuff. It would have been great again to have got to, the stuffed dummy of Tom Baker out for the photographs. Reprinted it, recreated all that magic moment. No, it was a shame. It's a shame, but you have to ask them that. I don't know why they didn't. I think they hope they got away with it by being very supportive of us making the Five-ish Doctor.
Damage limitation.
Yeah.
The man's an arse. That's it. So right, when now...
Sorry to change the subject a bit. I want to ask about the Hobbit. The bird poo on the face. I just want to know what was that made of, and how did they make it look the same? Did you have to wear it all the time, or did they put on a new one every day? Strange question.
Yeah, well, I mean, they used to get, they bring in the birds every morning and they shit all over them. And then they scrape the bits off that they didn't want. There was a kind of Weta had made the bird poo in a kind of a guide, and that was stuck on my face, and then they covered it up with, porridge or whatever it was. Although, I hope they weren't method actors, That's how I got the bird poo.
How long did it take for the makeup application?
For me, it was only an hour and a half. I was very lucky. Because if you think about it, I had a wig, so all that hair, that's just one plonk. And then, doing the glue around the side. And then the beard was just one piece. And the moustache, and then the eyebrows, and the nose, and the ears. And then it was me.
But what's lovely is it's still very recognisably you.
Well, you see, I got a funny nose and big ears and long hair.
Right. This better be a good question.
Oh, the pressure's on now. Great, thanks. Hello, Sylvester. Thanks so much for coming to see us. My question is, you started out the Seventh Doctor as a very kind of clownish and funny figure. Towards the end, of course, it was getting a bit more dark and mysterious, and then the novels and the audios, it became very morally questionable. The Seventh Doctor was a very dark and devious figure. How do you feel that he kind of seems possibly one of the darkest Doctors?
Well, in a way, I'm quite pleased and proud of that, really. Mr. Moffat, who some people don't like, he complimented me on the celebration of the 50th on my Seventh Doctor, really, because he said that if my Doctor was pivotal. Now, what he said was that the Doctors before were great, but they were in that cartoon world, in a way, whereas I came along and brought something else that moved it in the direction towards quite a lot, has affected the present Doctors. That's how he said it, which is very nice. And I remember I arrived in ignorance about the previous Doctors, not having seen them for years, and I was given the script, and then slowly started to learn how I was going to play my Doctor. And so I wanted to make him darker. I wanted to make him mysterious again, because I thought the mystery had gone. I wanted to make people uncertain about him. I wanted the Who to be, a real big Who. Who, the what, the why, and the wow. It's the ambition. A lot of people, I upset a lot of people at the time, and I took a lot of flack. But I think, nowadays people are turning and realising what we were doing, what we were trying to do. And it was nice to hear it from Stephen Moffat that how it affected him and his interpretation of the Doctors, as well as Gary Russell. They watched it and that sent them in that way. Because when I was watching the early, some of the stories, they seemed just to be lifted from the stories that we'd done. The one that were. Sophie goes back, Ace goes back and meets her mother, and because of Fenric, there's a baby, and they're picking up the baby and all the timeline problems that has. Well, they had that with, baby Bond and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, lots of echoes you see. Wow, that was ours. Which is great, because that means the writers, the people who worked on it now were watching it then, and it affected them, and they took the memory and thought, well, we can do that better when we come back. Disparaging.